Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how the process works for keyframing your rigged model. At this point we've properly rigged everything up and the anchor points are all in the right position. And if you need to reposition your creature before you start animating him or her, select the object that everything eventually is linked into. In this case my central point is my pelvis. So I would click on this layer, make sure it's selected, and then just move my object, and everything that's parented into it eventually will follow. Okay, mine's pretty good in the center here, so I'm going to leave that. And multiple pass animation simply is when you go through the timeline and animate some different aspect of your creature or your machine, and you go through it several times till you get everything animated the way you want. Then when you play it together, it plays back, in time simultaneously as you've keyframed it. So if this guy, let's say we're going to have him maybe wave to the, let's have him wave to you guys. So let's start by looking at what we're going to animate first. In this case, I would just probably go to one of the biceps here. Let's have him wave with the left bicep. So I'll select that. Open this up, go to transform, and here I'm not going to mess with the position. The bicep's in the right position. I'm going to do the rotation. So I'm going to click on this to initialize the keyframing. And again, if I click this again, all the keyframes will be deleted. So be careful there. Click it once, and if you want to keep your keyframes, don't click it again. And so as we go through the timeline here, I might move this over to about here and then have this arm rotate up, for example, maybe about there. And then maybe by the time he gets to this point, he'll be back down to where he was. Okay? Or we can leave it there, maybe in that position, by clicking on this second keyframe, holding down Control, left clicking and holding that down and duplicating that keyframe. So he'll be in this position for this long, and then by the time we get here, we'll take this keyframe, the first one, duplicate that by holding Control down, left clicking the mouse button, then dragging while I'm holding both down. Okay, so far what we have is him just raising his arm and then bringing it back down. Now, multiple pass means now I might go in and go through the timeline and animate a different aspect of this skeleton's arm. So I'm going to make sure my scrub key here is at 0 on the timeline, and now I'm going to adjust the left forearm. So I'm going to click on the left forearm, make sure it turns blue, open that up, and I'm going to do a rotation on this as well. So at 0, I'm going to start my keyframing. Again, by the time, let's have him stay in that position till about right here. So there's two ways I can do it. I can duplicate this keyframe by holding down Control, left clicking and dragging, or you can go up here if you want to create that same position here and click the toggle keyframe button just above the timeline here, this round button. And that'll create another keyframe, the same one. So by the time his arm gets up here to the top part, we'll have this rotate up this way. Okay, and then about there we'll have it start waving. Maybe one more here. And then it'll go back down. So we'll grab the first keyframe that we had in the position there. Hold down Control, click and drag while you're holding Control and the mouse button. And now he's back to where he was. So now when you watch it, you're going to see his arm go up, he's going to wave, and then it's going to go back down. Same thing if you want to keep going and animate another aspect of your creature. Let's do the skull, for example. Okay, we're going to click on this, open that up, make sure your scrub key is at 0. And we're going to, again, do a rotation on the head as well. So click the initializer right there to the left of rotation. Start your keyframing process. And again, as his arm goes up to there, maybe his head is rotated this way. And he's going to start waving. Let's toggle another keyframe there. And then as his arm goes down, we'll return him to his original position by holding Control, scooting his head back over. Okay, so now when you watch it, you're going to see the arm doing multiple things, and you're going to see the head move at the same time. Back to the original. So that's what multiple pass animation is. You go through and animate or rotate different parts, which we call the action points, where your anchor points are. And then you go through the timeline and start to keyframe other parts to the creature. And eventually you'll start to see everything moving around simultaneously. And you'll have to go through the timeline several times before you get to everything doing what you want it to do. And that's the process of animating your creature. You're going to have to go through the timeline several times and keyframe different parts to be doing different things or having their own motion paths.